Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so let's talk GMT thoughts. Now, the last video that I made, I said that the watch is running about minus 0.5 seconds a day. And one of my viewers, Jimmy Split, thank you, Jimmy, he said, you might want to take it off at night and leave it face up, dial up. And I did that. That night I did it, and I've been doing it every night since. And what do I have today? I have -2. It is running exactly at -2. So it'll be a week since I got it back tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow night will be a week that I've had it, and they set it. I haven't even reset it. I haven't set it. I haven't done anything to it. And as of this moment in time, it's running -2 seconds. So Jimmy, thank you. I think you're onto something. I think you might have saved me. It's funny because I don't know if I would have done it, because this is the same movement as my Explorer 2, the 3185, and I've tried to regulate it with positioning and to no luck. So if Jimmy hadn't said that, I probably wouldn't have tried it, but he did, and I did try it. And I don't know if it's the positioning, or I don't know if as it runs down through the night, it running down speeds it up. I'm not sure, but all I know is it seems to be working. Hey, by the way, if you see Jimmy Split in my comment section, check out his videos. He's got some amazing vintage pieces. All right, so more thoughts. Well, I had one viewer, Steven, and Steven's a watchmaker, and he went nuts about that last video. He wasn't too happy about that. He went full on troll. But he asked a question. He said, basically, he was saying you're crazy if you bring it up to Rolex. And some more measured audience members said the same thing, albeit a little bit more eloquently and less with the venom of Steven. I agree. And am I going to bring this up tomorrow? Well, obviously not. I'm thrilled about what it's running. It seems like I'm at sort of perfect time, so absolutely not. I'm not gonna bring it up. But even if it was still losing time, would I bring it up? And probably the answer is no. And one of the reasons is because what if I got it back and it was +4? What do I do? Do I take it back in? I mean, this could be a vicious cycle, and I could go from a well-liked customer to a persona non grata pretty damn fast through those kinds of actions. So I probably wouldn't have said anything. Like I mentioned in that video, I probably would have just reset it, 10 minutes, did it again, 10 seconds fast, and then just reset it once a month. But I'm just a guy that likes a watch that runs fast versus slow. That's it. But Steven the Troll did ask an interesting question. He said, well, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a watch that runs -0.5 seconds a day, or one that runs +1 or +2 seconds a day? Well, I definitely wouldn't go +2 seconds, but it's an interesting what if. Would you rather have a watch that runs -0.5 every single day, or +1 every single day? And that's a tough question. I mean, obviously, the one that's running -0.5 seconds every day is closer to perfection. It's more perfect. So you'd kind of be crazy to choose +1 a day. But if you like a watch that runs fast, then I guess I could see that making sense. Now, would you be smart to go back and to ask Rolex to fix your -0.5 second a day watch? I think you're asking for trouble. I think you're being too picky. I agree. All right. I was just sort of contemplating, and look, I didn't do it, and I don't think I would have done it. But yeah, I would have to say, which would I choose? I mean, if it's consistently -0.5 a day, I don't know. That is a hard question, because I do prefer a watch to run fast. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy for me to choose +1 a day, right? All right, so, I mean, you got me there, Stephen. I don't know. Perhaps you've convinced me. I mean, look, you gotta choose what's closer to perfection, and I'd say the -0.5 is closer to perfection. So there you go, Stephen. Does that make you happy? Stephen was also pretty angry at the thought that I had the temerity to suggest that a watch could settle. It's not like a pair of shoes, he says. Well, look, I mean, watches that haven't run for a while tend to settle. I know my blue Hydronaut, came off the shelf and dust on the dial, and I don't think it had run in a year, maybe even 2 years. And sure enough, it was slow, and through some wear, 24 hours later, it was running pretty much dead on. And that did change a little bit. And do watches settle? Do they change after a service? I don't know. Stephen seems to think not. I don't know. It makes sense that they possibly could. Maybe the oil was put on in a certain way that, after a month or so of wear, it distributes a little bit. Things change. I mean, so I don't think it's crazy to think that a watch could change right after a service. Other audience members said, okay, well, wait 3 weeks, and so I don't know. But it's not completely insane. So anyway, where am I? I'm pretty happy with my accuracy. I'm going to take it in. We're going to get a Coke bezel tomorrow. Am I going to miss the all black? Absolutely. I mean, I'm wearing black pants right now, and this is a perfect color combination for a black suit. And I do want that Coke bezel, and I want the Pepsi bezel, and I'm going to get those. But yeah, I mean, I think this really is a great way to go. And I'll tell you another reason this might be the way to go, and that's, look, it's the 24-hour hand is set to Japanese time, and like I said, I haven't gotten into it. Now, when I do, the question is, do I set it to GMT time, or do I set it to the time I want to keep track of, which is Eastern Standard Time? Now, I think if you want to use the watch in a more pure way, you set that 24-hour hand to GMT Mean Time, Greenwich Mean Time, and then you use the bezel to set it to whatever time you want to keep track of. All right, so for me it would be Eastern Standard Time. And the thing is, if it's the Coke or the Pepsi bezel, it's not going to be symmetrical. You're gonna adjust the bezel to where it's going to be kind of cockeyed, right? And I mean, if you're a pilot in a country, and you're there for a couple days, it's cool. Cockeyed GMT, that's fine. The bezel is sort of not quite aligned horizontally, with that bicolored bezel, no problem. But if you're months and months and months and years going to be in Japan, that can be kind of weird. So if you have the all black bezel, you don't have that color scheme that looks off. I mean, the triangle is not going to be at the 12, but if I have this sort of at a if the triangle is, say, at the two indices, you're not going to visually look at it and say, somebody's got a crooked GMT bezel. So yet another reason why an all black bezel may be the way to go. But of course, there's a trade-off, because that bicolor bezel can measure out 15 minutes from the triangle pretty nicely. So if you want to time, say, 15 minutes, and that's sort of if you're diving, which I know you wouldn't dive in a GMT, but if you want to time 15 minutes, then you can do it really easily with one of those bicolor bezels. Whereas if I want to time 15 minutes, it's a little harder on this. So they have their advantages. I never thought I would. I was such a Pepsi fan, and then I was such a Coke fan. I never thought I would really like the all black. But I gotta say, I think it's the way to go. I think if I had to choose one bezel, and then just Rolex said, look, we're gonna change this. This is your last one. We're gonna take away everything you have. You gotta choose. Now's the time to choose, buddy. What do you want? What do you want? What's it gonna be, boy? I'd say, give me the all black. Give me the all black. Better all around. And that way I can kind of set the 24-hour to GMT, and I can use it, and I don't have to look at a crooked bicolored bezel. So anyway, take care. Let me know what you think. See you next time.